Welcome to On the Chain. This is Jeff here with co-host Chip. What is going on, Chip? What's going on, everybody out there in the On the Chain community? Today's video, we are going to deep dive, Chip, head first into the shallow end from maximum
Yeah.
impact right into the stories the media doesn't want you to know. Today, we're unraveling the complex web of misinformation, deceit surrounding the elections. We might even touch a little bit on the deception over the XRP lawsuit, the crypto frenzy known as Fomo. Chip, I have a question as we go through all of this, and maybe we'll even touch a little bit on this. Was the 2020 election really stolen? Did the media manipulate the narrative to serve their own agenda? And we are going to get into this ongoing battle against cryptocurrency, the overall crypto market, XRP, Bitcoin, all of that. We have to dissect the statistical anomalies that suggest something was completely just off the wall. Something
Yeah,
out there, something going on. Maybe they have a crazy ass agenda. We're going to touch
maybe,
maybe.
perhaps. You ready to kick this puppy off?
Let's do it.
Welcome to On the Chain.
Welcome everybody to On the Chain, Chip and
On
Jeff
the
show. Thank
Chain.
you, and good night. No, that's too soon.
Thank you.
Too
and
soon. Thank you and good night. It's too soon. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you guys are coming in from, and wherever that is. Go ahead and drop it in the comments. We'll go ahead and get Kelly and Sophie in here. First two. See that? They're not wasting any time. They know what's up.
No time.
They know what's up. Bam, bam, back to back. Gotta love it. Yeah, Jeff. I mean, the the Olympics kicked off in France. You know, I mean, you get it. They do it in prime time, which I've already seen all the clips, and it was beyond offensive. I mean, it was like if they were trying to put on, how would you offend? Like they were making fun of the. They did a LGBTQ LMNOP version of the Lord's Prayer, that famous Last Supper where, Christ is with the disciples, and they did basically making fun of that. I mean, just constantly just bagging on every possible thing. They had a headless Marie Antoinette. The whole thing was just and then instead of having their best singers, they had some blue Smurfy dude with his basically naked, singing some goofy. I was like, listen, man, the band Phoenix is from France. Okay, you could have put Phoenix up there, and they could have done like 2 songs, right? As you've done like a run through France's history, their glorious history of waving the white flag. Oh, wait a minute, maybe not that history. Maybe they want to maybe that's why they couldn't run through their history of waving the white flag, because they've been yellow bellies for as long as people can remember. But no, there's a lot of rich history in France, and it's sad that they wouldn't highlight the culture of France, but they had the culture they wanted to highlight is the 0.5% of the entire population of the world. That's what they wanted to highlight, right? And everything has a place, but on the national stage, when you have families watching the Olympics, you got to have that stuff shoved down your throat. It was abhorrent, Jeff.
It's so horrible. I mean, even right up to the initial announcements, I look at and like, oh, the Olympics going on. Does anybody really care? Is there anybody out there that really cares that the Olympics are even going on right now? It's so bizarre. I remember a time, I mean, that's all everybody would talk about. It's like, oh, the Olympics. And you would talk about it probably for weeks leading up to it on the excitement of, being able to watch it. And now nothing. And now I think they've completely destroyed it. Let the crazies, I don't know. I don't even know
Jeff,
how
Jeff.
how do you take it seriously now moving forward? You can't.
And the problem was we can't show it. And so then they had all these drag queens dancing with a little girl, and it was so.
See? No care.
Yeah, nobody cares about the Olympics anymore. I mean, like, okay, you got to be very careful. You can't show this stuff, right?
Ceremony was an affront to the majority of the human race.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. So what I want to show you like this, Jeff, look at this. Now, if you look in the background with the Olympic symbols, I mean, they're not even, hiding it anymore. They've got a golden calf. Now, if anybody knows anything about, you don't even have to be a big fan of, Judeo-Christianity, but you just have to look at anybody knows the symbolism of a golden calf. Okay, I mean, Jeff, this is just pushing it in our faces, right? It was like bestiality, devil stuff. It was just insane. I mean, we'll probably get demonetized for this, but you can't really show it. You got this nutter dancing around, and I can't put it big on the screen. This is what I was talking about. You got this little girl who's dancing with
Yep.
all these freaks. I
With
mean,
all the
and
freaks.
this
Yep.
dude,
Another freak.
A, not a good singer. B, doesn't make any. This made zero sense. And then it was just yeah, and there you go. This was the Lord's Prayer thing the Lord's Supper thing that they were making fun of. You got this bishop that came out and just said how offensive it was. And I think that, like,
Well,
who looks at this, a government official, and says, "Hey, we could highlight France's culture," and they're not bringing their best. They're not sending the best, Jeff.
it
It's just
it's so bad. I mean, it's so horrible. And they've just undermined history, the history of the Olympics in one event, and that's it. Is anyone gonna actually watch it? I mean, I really think that if there were any decent countries out there, they would immediately, immediately, without hesitation, pull their athletes. Say, "You guys are coming home. Screw this.
but
Don't want
Jeff, the
representation here." And
yeah, but
if half the countries would pull their people, what do you have left? You have a bullshit Olympics. I mean,
yeah, but
it's
here's the thing.
ridiculous. They're gonna have these men competing against women over there too.
The best revenge is to win and kick their ass. That's the best revenge. Like in 1980, when they boycotted the Moscow Olympics, the U.S. Boycotted it. You have to. It's not fair to the athletes. These athletes train for years, man. They put in, like, while their people are sleeping in on Saturday and Sunday, they're at the gym. They're training all single day. I mean, the amount of effort that goes into it. But this is what I was talking about. This is just absolutely beyond disgusting. It's just ridiculous. I'll play a listen in the background. Um, yeah, so hopefully this you can watch it at this size here, but let's see. Where's the I'm gonna show Paris is
Clark said,
here's
"And
this
we twice saved this country." Why?
satanic and anti-Christian freak show from a writing of this was the fourth horse of the
Yep.
apocalypse. That one wrote it. Okay, it's like you had drag queens. I mean, it's just out of control, man.
Ridiculous.
So and whether you're a Jew or a Christian, like putting a golden calf. I mean, what? I mean, this is just in your face. I mean, it's just it's too much. But I'm so tired of them bagging on Christianity, the
Mhm.
anti-Semitism that has just run rampant. You
Yeah,
know, never again. And
true.
what are we doing? We're doing it beyond to a point of where it's a global thing. In what started World War II was just most of it came out of Germany, right? I mean, for it was really the Hitler, right? But now
Mhm.
it's a worldwide phenomenon where it's okay. But you know what? You can't, like, if forget about Islam. You can't say anything about that. Oh no, no. But
Right.
Judaism, Christianity, full on assault. And this is what got this triple standard, this nonstop double standards it's got me a little bit hot, Jeff. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep. No, it's exactly what you're saying. They're totally paving the way for the Islamists, to take over. And they're running rampant through Europe, and look what they're up against. How hard is it to take down, France and England and, other parts of Europe when
Oh,
you're up against this ridiculousness. And to your point, the libs, the left will bend over backwards to defend the craziness of the Islamists, and they'll do everything they can to march with them. It's the craziest thing that we've ever seen. But again, this is the representation. This is what they think is their best and their brightest. But this is where all the misinformation starts, because you have a minority group that has completely captured and taken hostage the civil world. And so if it's backed and promoted by the media, and that's why I'm glad, Alchemist said he hasn't watched TV in a month. He said, "I'm glad I'm out of the loop. None of this means much of anything." And it really doesn't. but this is the loop you have to be in, and then they put it front and center, then they're bringing kids into it. Do they really think that moving forward, are they gonna attract the best and the brightest now, that are the best in terms of, athletic prowess to
I don't
compete
know,
in
Jeff.
future Olympics? Or are we witnessing is this show the end of any civil society? I think we came, extremely, close to World War. We're very close on the brink of a world war. We came very close to a civil war with the shooting at the Trump rally. Emotions are running high, but it's also because the majority have allowed a minority to take over and create crazy,
Mm.
this crazy environment throughout the world, and it's got to stop, and it's just too much. It really is too much. I want to show you this, and I'll show you this. This is how crazy things are. But even within the craziness, there's a video. We don't have to. It's kids. This is what it's come down to. And granted, kids have always fought. Stuff like this has always gone on, but you have the craziness over there in the Olympics. And then you have, kids that are fighting it. One kid as a bully picking on another kid, beating him up, and this is the type of stuff that's popping up on social media. The thing is, everyone's standing around while he thinks, the bully, and this is going to be representative in the rest of the world, because here you have the bully, he's picking on this little kid. Eventually, this kid is like, screw this, and he steps in, and he look at how he just takes on the bully, no fear, just gonna come after this guy and put him, kind of look at this, puts him into check. But this is what you need on a global stage, because you have, except, instead of being the big bully, taking on the little kid, the whole David and Goliath thing is
Mm.
flip-flop now, and the false narratives and the emotions and the tensions. But again, you have a minority group that's truly bullying the rest of the world into, special, at least here and maybe in France and England, I don't know, maybe Germany, maybe some other countries, pronouns. This whole prolific thing of having to have pronouns and millions of genders, and they're just turning everything on its head. But they are an aggressive bully, just like that kid in the video. They're an
Yeah.
aggressive bully, and people finally, look at all the people just standing around doing anything. Time to step up, and it's time to take them down. It's crazy. It's crazy. And look at Steve says, instead of fighting, we're filming. There you go.
Look at this right here. So Scotty from Momenta says, as someone who homeschools, the Olympics has so many great educational opportunities, geography, ethnic culture, as well as sport related topic that just ruined all that. And this is, and like
All of it.
like kind of what we were saying, like highlight.
Done.
And what was amazing was to read what people were doing was, and they were putting like, here, this is how they celebrated in the Greek Olympics, right? So, and when Greece put it on, they went through history, right? They showed the richness of the culture and their long-term history, right? When it was in Japan, they showed, drumming. They showed like cultural references, like with promote the greatness. Is this the greatness? And they were worried about Marie Le Pen. They're worried about Le Pen. Le Pen only got 3 seats after that,
Right.
massive showing. This is how Jeff. This goes right down to the bully, the left. Stand up, punch him in the throat. I don't care. I'm not engaging your mental illness. If I ask you to call me, I'll be honest
Right.
with you. I was when I, and a couple of years ago, I was in a job market. I was putting stuff, and they said, "Tell me, put something. Be creative. Tell us about your full self." And I jokingly, I didn't really even care, but I said, "Please call me King Chip. I prefer to be a king, and I prefer to be called king. You don't. Oh, those are my pronouns, king and master. Please call me king and master when you refer to me, because it's a joke, Jeff. The whole thing is a pathetic joke. You know what
Mhm.
my pronouns are? The first one begins with F. The second one begins with you. Those are my pronouns. Okay. So you want to, that's what I say when it comes to pronouns. My pronouns are MAGA. That's what my pronouns are. What do you got
And then
here, Jeff?
here, this should be the the opening of the Olympics right here. Here you go. What in the look at this.
What is
Look at
this?
this.
It's like, what is it, Jeff?
It's
Who's that? Who's that?
that's Biden.
No, it's not. That's the
No.
double. That's the tall
Yep.
Biden. Yeah,
Yeah.
so they're trying to pass off some dude who doesn't walk the same, who doesn't talk the same, who
And look
doesn't
how
even
he's walking. This is a fake walk. That's not a real
well, it's skipping, Jeff. The whole thing is like
right.
it's like,
But then
still
you
frame.
look at him, it's so bizarre.
But for me, it's still frames. It's not playing smooth.
That's strange, right? It's
Well, the other
very
thing too
strange.
was so supposedly he was at the White House, and an 8-hour flight later, like an hour later,
All
Biden
up the stairs.
arrives in France for the Olympics. Okay, so that whole thing was pre-taped. Okay, so it wasn't
Yep.
alive at all. They make it seem like it's live. Someone is obviously dumb enough. Biden had the wrong time on his watch, either the wrong time on there or it was taped. But how does Jill end up in France for the Olympics? What is she? We don't have a supersonic plane, right? We don't have a way to get there. The gaslighting has gotten to an all-time epic high. And you know what Olympics we need to bring back? We need to bring this back. 2004, we had Donnie Trump right there carrying the torch over there. There he is. There he is right there carrying the torch. This was out of New York. This was beginning of the games in Athens, Greece. I mean, but there's no cultural stuff anymore. If that's what represents your culture, obviously Marie Antoinette, headless, but they had some bizarre like satanic voice coming out of her. I mean, I don't speak French, but the whole thing. And I talked to my buddy last night. He's like, I'm like, what are you doing? He goes, I'm watching the Olympics. I go, bro, I can't do that. And he goes, it's a complete disaster. I'm like, why are you watching it? He goes, that's a good question. I
Yeah.
was like, why are you watching it then?
And
But it's
then
a
there's
shame.
this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
2008 Olympics, China.
China
this.
dropped. I thought it was Japan, but it's China. All right. Look at that. All drumming in exact unison, right? You can't play the song because I found that even the video. Remember we played the Dukes of MAGA the other night, the parody of Dukes of Hazzard. Well, even though we didn't play the audio, the video still got a strike for our channel.
Yeah.
Like you can't use anything.
I don't get it. You
Meanwhile,
can't use anything anymore.
well, meanwhile, there's these fair use channels where you can react to videos. Like I actually there's like 3 people that I watch. I watch every video they react to because they grew up in a different culture, right? Maybe they grew up in like an R&B or a rap culture, and they're listening to rock music for the first time, and so they have their take on it, and it's fun to watch. There's a couple people that
really
I watch.
fun to watch.
Look at Rough Rican, man. I'm telling you, look at this. Love it. 10. Appreciate that, man. Appreciate you as always, my man. Joe Shaq Biden. Shaq. It's like, I don't know, but it says like, do you have growth spurts at 81 years old? I mean, people were like saying, is it possible to have a growth spurt at that age? It's unbelievable. But Jeff, I want to play this. I was planning on playing this a little bit later, but I wanted to play, and again, I can't play the music, but it's the J6ers version singing behind this, the national anthem. But this is so incredible. The video, how this kid got up there and is doing this. Basically, he's up there with a camera, waving a flag. Look at this. Hang on. Yeah, can't play that. But look at this. Now you go like, okay, well, that's impressive. Yeah, he's standing up there and he's waving. But if you realize he's at the very top of an antenna that he crawled up here, and when you see the drone pull back, you'll get the massiveness of this whole thing. But you hear the national anthem in the background. Look at him. Look at that. Holy crap. You can see him waving the flag there. Now, I don't look where he's standing. This is insane. He's just there's nothing keeping him up there. He's just balancing.
Man, I don't get it.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's got a camera.
He's got the camera and he's waving the flag.
And waving the flag. And he's not losing his balance with all the winds up there.
Yeah, and then you can see that it actually shakes a little bit here. Look at they speed it up. Look at the shaking going on. Oh God, that's vertigo for me, man.
And now how does he get back down? What the?
Carefully, Jeff.
Oh my God. It's so crazy.
Carefully. It's
no safety net, no nothing. I mean, no safety harness.
I mean, what a way to have an impact. But I don't know. It's not something I'd recommend, but it's insane.
My God.
He's like, oh, I can't watch that. Oh no, I can't do that. Yeah, that's something I can't do. What happened to Ripple SEC closed meeting? Yeah, so that first of all is an anomaly. These closed meetings happen all the time. They're mandated by the court. They don't happen. They cancel them all the time. Thank God we have an ex-SEC official who put the kibosh on all that BS. You hear these influencers talking about a settlement. It had nothing to do with that. These meetings are meaningless. They're on the schedule every single week. It's the dumbest thing ever, but you'll hear nonstop influencers. And what did Jeff and I tell you guys? Not going to settle. And everyone's like, it's going to settle today, tomorrow, maybe next week, maybe tomorrow at 7 o'clock. On the 31st at 2 p.m.
There's going to be a settlement. So we're talking about how many years now people have been talking about settlement? Settlement, settlement, guaranteed settlement.
Yeah, nonstop settlement. Now they're going to.
Oh my God.
After all the SEC's been through and the humiliation, yeah, now they're going to just bend over and then just let Ripple have it. They wanted to leverage what it was originally $2 billion, now $1 billion. But that's cool. I'm sure they'll settle for $20 million, not $1 billion, but they'll settle for $20 million because the SEC will see that that's fair on both sides. I'm sure that they'll see the light. This is where you're lacking logic and reason, and the SEC. And this is the other thing that I want to dive into too about Brad Garlinghouse. Just cannot in his own brain reason with the fact that he is a fan of the party that wants to absolutely destroy and eliminate crypto from the planet. But he's hopeful. Oh, Jeff, he's hopeful. Don't worry. At some point, the whole thing is just let's roll through this. So here we've got Brad Sherman. Actually, let me download this clip first so we can actually play Brad Sherman, because this is what Garlinghouse had commented on. And you've got like these nutters like Brad Sherman, who's not only is he anti-crypto, doesn't even understand crypto. And it's real evident almost every time he opens his mouth. Does he ever know what he's talking about, Jeff, at any given point in time? This Brad Shermanator?
You guys, he's a moron.
Warren. You've got Elizabeth Warren, who's another complete nutter.
Another moron.
Don't worry. The entire party is anti-crypto. But, maybe Kamala Harris, maybe she has a change of heart. Well, maybe first of all, we had Mark Cuban out there saying, Kamala's people reached out to me and they had some poignant questions about crypto. Well, she was extended. So you had RFK Jr., whose basically whole speech was about Bitcoin, right? Then you have Trump speaking there, and Kamala, they were going to, invite her, and she declined. So it says everything you need to hear that she declined, right? All right, let's pull up the Shermanator here. Hang on a second. Oh gosh. There's always something here, Jeff. What do you got going on over there? You got to see that face over there. All right, let's pull this up. Let's look at this. Then we'll talk about what Garlinghouse had to say about this. But this is Brad Sherman on the floor talking about, I don't know what he's talking about, Jeff, but let's listen.
Leads to the question, what about Skibbity Coin?
What?
I thought that was a joke until I'm told there already is a Skibbity toilet coin.
What a douchebag.
And once they make the Skibbity coin, the Skibbity toilet movie, will Skibbity coin go to the moon? We'd
like to send you to the moon.
Don't know.
What a douchebag.
But why is Bitcoin more valuable than Skibbity coin? It is today, maybe not ever.
Why is this fiat currency worth less? In 1972, what it costs for anything, milk, bread, right? And so what they don't understand is inflation. Yeah, it was 9%. They brought it down to 3%. But it's like somebody had a great analogy. They're like, let's suppose you want to lose weight and you gain 20 pounds and you were gaining weight at like 3 pounds a week until you were only gaining weight at 1 pound a week or 1.5 pounds a week. Well, you still have that weight. The prices haven't changed. So this is the whole Skibbity coin. Good move, Mark.
Entire portfolio.
Mark's protesting. He ain't putting up with this Skibbity coin.
Because it's going to the moon, Charles. It's Skibbity coin. They're rationale for not passing crypto regulation laws because of Skibbity coin.
Skibbity coin.
After the movie.
What a fraud.
Which leads to the question, what about Skibbity coin?
Skibbity.
We don't know.
I love Skibbity coin. Skibbity coin is great.
Yeah, thanks for giving Skibbity coin a face, and giving it some promotion out there, Mr. Shermanator. He's a complete douchebag.
Why is one politician better than the other when they all smell the same, Sherman?
Damn.
The Shermanator.
They're not
Skibbity
sending
coin.
the best, Jeff. They're not sending the best. So
Let's see where Skibbity coin is at.
Skibbity coin. Like no one ever heard of Skibbity coin because that was like something he made up in one of the hearings. Remember, he talked about Skibbity coin and blah blah blah. And so somebody out there got clever and said, "I'll make a Skibbity coin."
I found it. Skibbity toilet.
And you know what's funny? Is probably that's what he said.
It's
Skibbity
up.
toilet. They should have put Skibbity Shermanator in the toilet. Is what they should have called it. The full. And so he's like, I'm told it's probably his coin. He probably is the one. And he's going to rug everybody. He's going to open it up. Skibbity coin, toilet coin.
Yes.
It's at one. What point? It's at almost.
It's at a penny.
Cents?
Yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
It's up 29.5%.
What's the overall?
The 24 the fully diluted value 134,000. It's got $20,000 in the last 24 hours. It's got a 10 million Skibbity supply. Got a website. Here's the tokenomics.
Yeah, what are the tokenomics?
Coins can be traded on.
Buy it before it rugs.
Yeah, exactly.
A buddy of mine, a long-term, an old friend of mine, reached out and he said, "Hey, my wife wants to get into crypto. What do you recommend?" I said, "I recommend you do your own research." He goes, "No, but you've been in it a long time." I'm like, "Don't take my advice, dude. I can tell you what I look for. I can tell you what I think about, but it's a personal preference." She goes, "Well, she wants to make money quick." I go, "Meme coins. The thing is, you got to get in quick. You got to know when to get out before it rugs." He goes, "What does that mean?" I go, "Before it all collapses." He's like, "Well, why would it do that?" "Because it's a meme coin." It's like, "What does that mean?" I go, "It's just a fun coin with a silly name that a bunch of people go into, drive the price up, and then bail on it. And then it gets rugged by the founders who end up with 40% of it, and they sell it through other wallets. And it's just," I go, "It's pretty much scam." He goes, "But the ones that have utility and token, utility tokens, don't worry about those because they're not going anywhere." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, she wants to make money quick, like with a couple $1,000s." I'm like, "Well, good luck on that."
There's the Shermanator. He's the team leader.
Shermanator.
There's their website.
Jeez, I didn't know they did websites. How to do a website from 2001, but not actually. I mean, this is great. This looks like one of those kids that crafted an HTML website in his basement. This is just.
Yeah.
I mean, you can buy a theme and make it look better, and they destroyed even the theme here.
They haven't got a song. They have a Skibbity song.
Leader, y'all know the name. We ain't playing around. We staying loyal and true.
Oh my God.
Passion, heart, and dedication. That's how we do. Haters talking trash, trying to bring us down. But we rise above, we're in the crypto king's crown. Millions of fans before crypto was a thing. Voted #1 meme on YouTube, we make it ring.
Okay, Jeff, that's enough. I think I've heard all I need to hear.
The Skibbity coin.
Skibbity toilet is where it belongs,
Skibbity
right?
toilet.
It's kind of where it belongs. So anyway, so we watched we watched Brad Sherman. Now let's see what Brad Garlinghouse said about
the Shermanator.
Yeah, the Shermanator. And this is what kills me, Jeff. This is hilarious. And look, I know Brad's playing a part. We all know he's MAGA.
8,000x
easily 8,000
easy.
So it would behoove VP Harris not to listen and distance herself ASAP from folks like this who spout this nonsense. The Dems aren't winning any votes for being anti-crypto and thus anti-innovation. While the Republicans are gaining votes for embracing and encouraging innovation here in the U.S., it's time to catch up with so many other leading economies and governments with clear rules of the road. What he doesn't understand is that she is the machine. Did you see did you see where she claimed like she was talking about Afghanistan? So she took credit for Afghanistan, right? Now you have all these legacy media companies 2 years ago calling her the border czar, the border czar, the border czar, the border czar, and now they're like, she wasn't the border czar. She had nothing to do with the border. She wasn't the border czar. Okay, did they officially anoint her with the magic wand on the shoulder that said you're the border czar? Okay, maybe not. You want to be about semantics? Yeah. Was she appointed and tasked with the border control? Yes, she was. Call it border czar. Her job was the border. And the best one is when you had Lester Holt calling her out. You didn't go to the border, but I went to the border. No, you didn't. You didn't go to the border. I didn't go to Europe. This is who we have. So the clips are out there, and to think that somebody who is a puppet, who was the first person out before the primary began in the 2020 Democrat side for the presidential race. She was the first one out. She's polling at 5%. Then it went down to 1%. She dropped out. So why would you bring somebody who is so unpopular? You got CNN Roundtable back in April talking about how unpopular she is, how she's very unpopular. Nobody likes her. Now they're like, oh my God, she's great. And don't believe all the hype. And people even like on our side, we're getting like, oh my gosh, maybe they do have a chance. Well, when they see the internal polls, mark my words, she will be nowhere near that ballot. She is hated. She's disliked. And all the hype and all the propping up and all the fake polls out there aren't going to help her.
Yep. Done. Remove them.
Mr. Use Case comes in strong. He says, Brad's still clinging to the Democrats who have shown their true colors already. Enough is enough, Brad. He's talking about Brad Garlinghouse. I said, I can't stop laughing. But wait, we haven't heard from Kamala Harris. For the last 4 years, her administration has been trying to destroy crypto. This is both rich and comical. And then we had a bunch of other people. Mr. Use Case, right. It's like Brad is a naive fool who doesn't understand that she has the same handlers that Biden had. Spot on. Brad, look at this. Brad, check out how one of your peers is viewing this. And I got to tell you, the Winklevoss twins, they have gone these guys are so freaking spot on. Everything they put out there.
Yeah, thank God for them.
Standing up, man. They're super smart. Look at the Biden-Harris administration didn't ignore crypto. They didn't even laugh at crypto. They tried to fight and kill crypto. So if you operate in bad faith and you want to extend a sincere olive branch, you first need to demonstrate good faith. Fire Gensler, end Operation Choke Point 2.0, start Operation Heimlich, a coordinated effort to bank the crypto industry, withdraw illegitimate SEC enforcement actions, commit to sidelining Elizabeth Warren from all crypto legislation efforts. Proof of good faith. Jeff, what do you think about that assessment? Is that spot on?
It's 100% spot on. I mean, you look at that and it's like, finally, people are stepping up. Elon Musk is stepping up. Winklevoss twins stepping up. Interested to hear what Jeremy Powell has to say, from Kraken. I love to hear some commentary there. All of the minds that understand the dynamics of what this entire government administration has done to undermine cryptocurrency. It's not just about the one individual. It's about their entire policy. It's about their hive mindset. To even think that Kamala Harris understands what crypto is a stretch. To think that she's going to change the opinion of the hive is a stretch. She has, zero credibility within the hive. There's other people within the hive that are controlling it, and you're going to get zero positive legislation out of it. You're surrounded by, the most insane of the insane, like the Shermanator, like Elizabeth Warren, and then you have the squad lunatics, and you have who else? Shifty Schiff. You've got the whole host of these people are just across the board are complete bad news. Until you get rid of all of them, you get rid of the leader of the hive, then if he wants to put money and emphasize somebody that's a Democrat, if he truly has passion to support a Democrat, go support Richie Torres. Put all the backing into Richie Torres and figure out how we get Richie Torres to switch parties and become an independent, and then support positive pro crypto legislation. Have him vote along with the Republicans to pass. That's what he should be doing. You can't say, well, I hope this Elizabeth Warren, who's been, just a non-shower, it's just insane, completely insane. I mean, it's just as insane as this, to that point. So if you think that she's going to be pro crypto, it goes along with what this woman's saying on her video. You know, it's the same insanity, just packaged up a little bit differently. And here, look at this one.
Can someone please just give me a valid reason as to why they're voting for Kamala Harris? So far, the only two that I've heard is because she's a woman and she's black. I'm from the exact same people that can't define what a woman is and who say not to judge people based off the color of their skin. Okay, thought we learned our lesson with Obama, but apparently not. Actually terrifying that this is the type of woman that people want as the president of the United States. They want a woman that's known for using her mouth to get to the positions that she's in. And I don't mean public speeches. But then again, based off the morals of the women of the left, not surprising. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against having a woman president, but I'm not going to vote for someone just because they've got a cooch. Especially one that is pro-defund the police and open border. Those are the same ones that say that Trump is trying to take down the democracy and you don't even realize what's happening in front of your own eyes. You now have a candidate that you did not vote for. This has never happened before. All you are is a puppet in their game. I thank you for your service of being a little social justice warrior for the past 4 years, but we don't want that anymore. You want a woman president so bad? I'm sure that it's not one that's going to be a complete embarrassment to our country. When push comes to shove, it's not going to matter what's in her pants or the color of her skin. It's time that you start actually using your brain because we can't afford another 4 years of this.
And there you go. So it goes beyond what her idea of crypto is. It's the additional insanity of everything. She was not chosen by the people. She wasn't elected by the people. There was no primary. They're trying to anoint. They're pulling the wool over everybody's eyes. It's more corruption, more cheating. It's as much of a theft as the 2020 election was. And this is and the majority and the hive mindset, unfortunately, the hive mindset, it is completely there are people that are leaving the hive because there's Democrats that are waking up that are voting for Trump. But then you have the irrationality of the libertarian movement, which is worse than the Democrat Party. And so you have that melding. And I got to believe the libertarian part, the people with the libertarian movement are going to support Kamala Harris as well, because that's the type of thing that they do. But then you just the insanity of it, this warped mindset. But then for Brad Garlinghouse to say, well, I hope she does this. How do you take a person that is being handpicked and anointed by the political elite class to be a representative, to be a president? It's unconstitutional. It circumvents everything that this country has fought for, and it's one more step into becoming the banana republic that we've been for the past 3.5 years. And during the 2008 to 2016 period, we became a banana republic. And this is the travesty. People ran out and voted for Barack Obama because of race and nothing else. The travesty. And he was an orator. That guy spoke. He was an amazing speaker. And when you saw him on talk shows, he's the kind of guy you'd want to hang out with. He had the beer forum or whatever it was. It's just crazy. So
for sure.
it's just too much. So this is how they think. This is what, but she's not going to make it. I don't think she's going to be out by the DNC. They're going to kick her to the curb, and someone else, they're going to anoint somebody else. Still not going to have a primary. The people still don't get to vote.
And Sophie's saying you can bet her staff is job searching. And look at this. So I wanted to preface this right here. You want to know what kind of leader she's going to be? 92% of her staff left in her first 3 years. Okay, so if you look at this, you want to see how what a leader somebody is. Somebody that follows and wants to be part of an administration. First of all, we've heard horrible stories, but it said open the books revealed Monday. Out of the 47 staff members that were hired when Harris took office in 2021, only 4 reportedly remain in her employment as of March 2024. So you're talking about 93% of your staff leaves. I know there's going to be changeover. There is in every administration, but that's a pretty heavy number. 20%, 30% turnover. People put that on their resume. Hey, I worked in I worked for VP Harris. I did this, I did that. And they use it as a career builder. But to lose that much, that's pretty crazy. I mean, that's a pretty sad statistic right there. My God, Jeff. I mean, it's ultimate in insanity there.
Yeah, I mean, the statistics, if we want to talk about a theft of an election. Now, I don't have this as a PDF, so I'll just read out the statistics here. If we look at the 2020 election as a complete anomaly that will never happen again, Never happened before that. Never happened in any election in this country is voter turnout. And if you can tell me it was real, then there's a bridge in Brooklyn, that I'm going to sell you at a discounted price point.
Yes, I'll buy
And,
one.
and of course, I've got two actually.
I'll take 3.
In in 2000 in 2008, there were voter turnout 62.3% of eligible citizens voted in the presidential election. 2008. That's when Obama was running. The biggest change in the history of this country, hope and change, 62.3%. In 2012, after the first cycle, 57.5% voted in 2012 with Obama there, 2012. 2016, as Trump came to the stage and they demonized him and the hoaxes and they tried to take him down, the passion of the Democrat Party to put all of their votes behind Hillary Clinton. 2016, the voter turnout, Chip, was 61.4%.
Which is a pretty big increase from the previous 2 cycles, but
Right.
moderate by comparison.
Now, there could be some anomaly in the numbers, but and in terms of how the media reports it, some of the media, so here's the crazy part. Now, if you look it up and some of the things I found, they want to say that the media is claiming in 2020, there was a 66% voter turnout, 66%. Biden received 81.2 million votes. Trump received 74.2 million votes. That's 155,400,000 total votes. There are 168 million registered voters in 2020. 168 million. That is a 92.5% voter turnout. 92.5%. Statistically impossible. Never happened before. Will never happen again. We look at the history, a historic vote of epic proportion with Obama doesn't get near the voter turnout that Biden supposedly gets. He supposedly gets this massive, massive number of votes. Now, the crazy thing is that was 2020, 3.5 years later, there's 161 million registered voters documented. 2020, there were 168 million. Where did the 7 million registered voters go? Did they take 7 million people off the polls, off the rolls, off the voter rolls? Now, the question is also in 2020, 14, 15-year-old kids are now ready to vote. So all those kids now, what happened to those registrations? There's a lot of new registered voters. Did they offset? Were there really 7 million that were taken out? But how do you get 92.5%, 30% higher than any other time in history? Impossible, completely impossible. So there's a fraud in the numbers. There's a fraud that the media is covering up. No one's talking about that there was a 92.5% vote. No one's talking about that, that in California, they mailed ballots to every residential address and just let people vote. That's a fraud on its face. Yeah, and then they circumvent the state constitutions of multiple states with the drop boxes and the mail-in ballots. And the way they orchestrate it was contrary to the laws on the books. So on its face, again, that should have been deemed illegal. But there was not one state convention. They didn't rise up. Trump said at that point in time, said the states have to do and take back their power. They didn't do it. Vice President Pence had an opportunity to call and to investigate it further, didn't do it. There was so much travesty at that moment in time. The hive mindset, all the chaos that we're seeing now as a direct result of the theft of the election in 2020. However you want to look at it, there was something wrong in that election cycle, and you can't ignore it. And you can't say that people are conspiracy theorists or they're crazy voter deniers because 92.5% voter turnout does not make sense. It's the craziest thing. doesn't make sense. Again, didn't happen before, will never happen again. And they're trying again with zealousness to push the mail-in ballots again, not absentee ballots. I was always an absentee ballot, registered as for an absentee ballot. The difference is when you got your absentee ballot, you had to go to the courthouse, prove who you were with your ID, with
Racist,
proof
Jeff.
of residence, and you had to do all that at the courthouse in order to get your absentee ballot. Not, oh, we're just going to send them out to voters. And then you have no idea. And so 92.5% doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Never happened. It's the craziest things. And so Kelly, they're not even absentee ballots. A true absentee ballot means that you went and had to register for it and prove your identification. With the mail-in ballots, they're basically just, you go online, you can click a box and they'll just mail it to you. And again, in California, they mailed it to everybody. They circumvented the legal system. They stole the election. However you want to look at it, as soon as you circumvent the law, there's something wrong. It's crazy. What's your point on that?
Yeah, so I'd like to drill down on one of the points that you made there, which is a good one. But Charles says 40 million votes came in overnight while most were sleeping. I'm gonna show some other statistical anomalies that have never happened before that just go to prove your point, Jeff. I mean, the voter turnout's one thing. Steve Walker says, you put your truth goggles on. How the hell is Trump draining the swamp? Washington is the swamp. Good luck unlocking up the deep state in 4 years. Well, here's the thing. There's a lot to overcome there and a lot to unpack. However, you have to look at the fact that, look, anybody's first term, you got to look at Obama's first term versus his second term. First term was like, go along to get along. Second term, that's what you remember, that famous open mic with the Russian president where he said, I can be way more flexible in my second term. I just got to get there, right? Because the second term is where you can go ahead, and that's where a lot of the big policy things come out, because it's your second term. Trump has nothing to lose at this point. He's either going to go big or go home. And you're right, it could turn out to be a complete dud, or he could basically systematically start dismantling the state. There's enough willpower there. You got compromised people in Congress, which you have to deal with. We call them rhinos, Republican in name only. The Democrats, they're all sort of compromised. The deep state all has something on them. They bitch and complain at the microphone, yet they vote a completely different way. I want to take a different stance on this. So you talked about the legislatures in the states, very much like what we saw in like Pennsylvania, Georgia. So what happened there is you had the secretaries of state rubber stamping these ballot boxes, right? And no guardrails on them at all. It's like you had people with backpacks showing up. If you saw the movie 2000 Mules, they took the statistical data of mobile phones and traced the same people over and over and over again going to the same ballot boxes. It's anonymous, but you knew it was the same ID of the people going there. So they're going back and forth for the ballot boxes. And in these states, the legislature, so every state is run the same way as on the national level. You have a House of Representatives, you have, in your Congress, you have a Senate, and then you have, instead of a president and vice president, you have got the governor, who's like the president. You got the lieutenant governors like the VP. And in this case, instead of the legislature passing it through the state Congress of the House and the Senate to be able to change the laws like happened in Pennsylvania, the Secretary of State just said, hey, let's change the laws. It was never called out. They broke their own state constitution, what Jeff said. I'm just kind of drilling down a little bit deeper on it, but I want to show some more statistical anomalies. So Joe Biden's leading the 2020 presidential race. Unusual voting patterns. Biden lost 18 of the bellwether counties. You say, what are these bellwether counties? Well, if you take the bellwether counties, you win the election. It's happened every single time. So Biden lost 18. He only won one bellwether county. And yet somehow, and again, another statistical anomaly, it predicts the winner of the presidential race every time since 1980. Biden got nearly 12 million more votes than President Obama did in 2008. Now, do we ever think, even if you don't even like Biden, but you just hate Trump, where did all these extra people came that didn't vote in the previous election? It's impossible.
Right. It's impossible. Statistically impossible.
Now look at this. He had fewer votes than Obama, and 70% of counties, that's 2,228 out of 3,000. Okay. So where did they win? They won in the swing states where you had populations like Wisconsin, which had 120% voter turnout. 105% voter turnout, 92% voter turnout statistically nationally. But how can you have more people voting than there are people registered? Well,
Right.
there's only one way. And this is what happened in Wisconsin. Republican
Yep.
House, this is the other one. Look at the down ballot, right? So Republican House candidates won 27 out of 27 races that were considered toss-ups by the New York Times. Extremely rare for an incumbent president to win seats in the House and then lose the election. That's another statistical anomaly. No presidential incumbent in the past 100 years increased the vote, but then lost re-election. No incumbent president has won over 75% of the primary vote. Trump received 94%, has ever lost re-election. I mean, it's forget about all this other stuff. This is statistical anomalies that are difficult to reckon with, right? They're difficult to put logic and reason around and say, well, how can they all be coincidences if there's so many of them? Especially the bellwether. That was the one that statistic that crushed me the most. I was like, whoa, this is crazy.
Yeah. So statistically and historically, when people are upset at the election cycle, they don't go out to vote. You don't increase voting, people don't vote. When there's zero excitement, when you have a brain dead individual that has plagiarized and stolen other people's works his entire life, his entire career, someone that ran for president had to stop running for president because he got caught up plagiarizing speeches, doesn't garner the kind of passion to get 81 million votes. And now we have to go back and look at this because now they're trying to do it all over again. They're stealing another election, and this time they're stealing from a primary. They're taking it directly from their own people. They're telling their own people, you guys are too stupid to make your own decisions and to really know what's going on. Democracy. Well, you know what democracy is? It's just a fascist state, because we don't live in a democracy. A democracy is the election by of some crazy majority to obfuscate the will of the rest of the people,
So funny.
and to oppress.
It's so
We
funny.
live in a constitutional republic.
Right, but this is the whole thing. But this is but they actually wanted democracy, and it's the whole thing to me is like, okay, but democracy, but you guys selected. You didn't. I mean,
Right.
like it or not, Biden won the primary. He got 14 million people voted for him. So you're basically telling those 14 people to go pound sand. Screw you.
Correct. Yeah.
Your
Yep.
vote doesn't matter. Now, whether you like it or not, 14 people showed up and cast the vote for Biden, and now they're just going to say, oh, let's throw it to the VP because she's deserving of it. Well, you know what? Have an open primary.
He's deserving of it.
Bring some people
Right.
to the table and let the people. That's democracy, right? Supposedly democracy you're crying about, selecting people versus electing people, which is what they're about. So it's just they break every other one of their own rules. I wanted to Witless. That's a good thing to call her there.
Well, you saw what she's done. So they
course.
passed a bill that says you can't challenge
You
the
can't, but
election. Can
that's
you
the-
imagine? I mean, it's not constitutional. It's going to be
not
thrown out, I'm
constitutional.
sure, within the Supreme Court. But this is the other thing the Democrats do. They continuously pass legislation like this that is not constitutional.
Sure. How to
And
tell us you're cheating without telling us you're cheating.
right.
Come on.
I
I
the
want to read this
passage
one.
of time, when we talk about the passage of time.
That's Kamala Ding Dong. There you go. So so Tyler Winklevoss came out with this, and this is a little bit long, but I think it's worth talking about because this tells me, and like Brad Garlinghouse, I know you're not listening, but I'd love to put this clip. We should cut this clip, put it up on the internet, because Tyler is so spot on right here. He said, if you think for a second there's going to be some semblance of the big picture and we want to learn about crypto, especially from the people that have been immersed with it, well, this kind of tells you everything you need to know. June, Cameron and I were invited to a crypto roundtable in DC with the White House in attendance. 2 weeks later, we were disinvited because we publicly endorsed Donald Trump. The Biden-Harris administration did not want us there and refused to attend the event if we were present. So while this is totally their choice, it perfectly captures this administration's unwillingness to sincerely engage with our industry beyond paying lip service. So if you're truly looking to engage with our industry after waging war on it for the past 4 years and understand its point of views in earnest, then certainly you would want to hear and welcome the most vocal and critical voices, the people who have been most negatively impacted by your policies, even if your minds are made up. This is how you get a real signal and perspective for self-reflection. Disinviting your critics from a roundtable discussion because they support an opposing candidate who, by the way, promised in no uncertain terms to end your war on crypto, is exactly the kind of behavior that makes crypto partisan. Not only is this behavior petty, it's fake engagement, and it only serves to create a meaningless echo chamber. But it also begs a deeper question. Who exactly from the White House disinvited us to this roundtable? Was it Biden? Doubtful. He didn't even show up. Was he even aware that this roundtable was being convened and happening? Again, doubtful, because all we know and is what we've seen. So who exactly is in charge here? Is it the same people who 1 week ago say President Biden was sharp as a tack and then the next week sideline him? Who are these people, and how can we look at them in the eye and get assurances for the next 4 years will be different? I'd love to know. The Biden-Harris administration had an opportunity to try and reset the relationship with the crypto industry this week, in direct contrast to how we have all been stonewalled, disinvited the last 4 years, and despite an infinite number of reasons not to, the Bitcoin conference graciously and magnanimously extended an invitation to Kamala Harris to speak and engage with our industry in Nashville this weekend. That's an olive branch of real engagement. Harris declined, which of course is no engagement at all. But to her defense, did she really? Maybe she wanted to speak, but at the same time, the people who installed her a week ago would not let her. So we know really what is the problem. The only way to solve this for this confusion and broken trust is for whoever to change and demonstrate real concrete action before November. Demanding that Harris, or whoever calls the shots, take action before November is the most nonpartisan position of all. As an industry, we should be completely aligned on this. We should be demand to know, among other things, who the next chair of the SEC is before we head to the ballot box. This is table stakes, and it's how you make crypto bipartisan. No more guessing, no more hoping, no more surprises. Our industry should not tolerate any possibility of a repeat over the last 4 years. Yep. We need to see tangible change, proof of commitment to treating our industry fairly and dealing with it in good faith forward. What are your thoughts about that?
The only way forward is Trump 2024. That's how we should have ended it. Because there's not one within the current hive leadership of the Democrat Party that's going to support crypto. It's an anomaly. It's an anomaly within the Democrat Party. Richie Torres. What is that? Is it just Richie Torres? Darren Soto in Orlando.
There was another rep that I saw there. It was pro crypto.
There might have been. Yeah, there's another one that's come on and voted. But I'll tell you why things don't change. And Mark brought this up. TCF Center, downtown Detroit, 2020. Oh, yeah. There's video of ballots being wheeled in at 2 a.m. Now, I knew people on the ground that were calling me on the ground while this was happening, where they put they were there as watchers to watch the process that was going on, and they were kicked out. They saw anomalies. They weren't allowed to get close enough. They kicked them out. Then they put pizza boxes on the window. Everything that we saw in the media. I had people on the ground calling me while it was happening, telling me what was happening. And I'm looking, I was like, well, there you go. A direct theft of the election was happening in Detroit. They had a lot of useful idiots. They were doing a lot of corrupt things. Trump 2024 is the only salvation that this country has. Trump 2024 is the only salvation that cryptocurrency in this country has. If we want to continue to exist and move forward, I would say that we have to focus on, the SEC. We have to look at all the agencies from the FDA to the SEC and beyond. There's so much corruption and corrupted intent that is damaging us and harming us on a regular basis, whether it's the food we eat, whether it's the things they try to inject into you, or it's how they want to manipulate your investment vehicles across the board.
Read that, Jeff. The board. Read that comment.
Steve is saying Garland House is showing his true colors. Ripple has to work with the central banks. XRP will only fly when the banks say so. Garland House is a Wall Street gatekeeper. $10 XRP and I'm out of this crap. Man. I mean, that's it. That's an interesting point. That where exactly does Brad Garlinghouse really stand on everything? What exactly is he doing? But he has to play that. He really has to be focused on building and developing his company, which is taking on Swift, which is an offset for the banks. Because if you think about, the banks came together as a conglomerate and they control Swift. Now they're saying that Swift is antiquated technology, although Swift is trying to adopt new technology. They're also trying to do through the central bank to adopt a digital currency to try to circumvent the blockchain and the cryptocurrency as well. So if they have their digital currency, they're saying that it's just as good, it's just as efficient, just as fast. But you know what else? It is just as it allows them to control your spending. It allows them to track and monitor where you spend your money, how you spend your money, and they can shut you down at any moment through that digital currency, which is why a central bank digital currency is bad. Now, what the open question then to Ripple, that is helping to create and facilitate a CBDC, and they have the technology to do so. The question would be, would there be privacy? And is there enough security built in, because a third party is creating it, that won't allow a government to manipulate or track your spending? And obviously that's what they want. And we have to be very, very cautious of everything that that is going on.
Of course
You
they
know,
were. Of course,
they
dead people were
circumvent
voting.
the laws because they can't be challenged within each state. There you go.
Yeah, that's a good
Corruption
point.
at
And
its highest level.
this is where they said, "Oh, you lost 57 of 67 court." No, 57 said no standing in a scenario where you couldn't challenge another state from a different state. You had to come with
Right.
right. So that's where they said no standing. They didn't lose them. This is where the left is completely insane. Yeah, that's right. The same people who are against voter ID wanted you to show your vax papers. That's right. We need your vax papers. I want to show
It's so
this
crazy.
clip.
So
Jeff,
crazy.
this is the campaign ad. This is the campaign ad for the 18 to 24-year-old crowd. Okay, tell me what you think of this. By the way,
Awesome.
the great Byron Donald. I knew you would love it. The great Byron Donalds put this out there. Here we go.
We know about this population. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid. That is why we put them in dormitories, and they have a resident assistant. They make really bad decisions.
What a
Well,
moron.
there you go, right there. Thank you. I approve this message, right? I mean, Jeff, this is just so. I mean, honestly, that's a real thing. And look at this one. Look
Very
at this.
cringe.
Here's another ad you can see for the
Very,
Kamal.
very
Are you ready? Watch this.
cringy.
It goes fast, guys, but watch this.
I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time. Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking. The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring. And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. Do you think the country went to shit over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Gillette.
There you go. That pretty much sums it up. And you got to love AI when you can clone someone's voice and do it. It's not even an impression.
So, who are y'all voting for?
Yeah, that's about it. I wanted to. I think we should get out of here, Jeff. We got one And I wanted to thank XRP Blinder here.
Whoops. Go. I don't know.
XRP Peaky Blinder here. Chip, I enjoyed Dancing on a Grave. Listened to it last night. So finally, I finished my AI video of my original song called Dancing on a Grave. I do have an album out with a lot more tunes on it. But anyway, this is one that I wanted to test out AI, and I wanted to see, if I could create a video that matched sort of the vision of how I wrote the song, which is the Day of the Dead celebration in Mexico, where they honor the dead and the memories of that. And so I put together a video that was created largely with Midjourney. I took still images and then I animated them using Runway, and I also did some text to video prompts in there. Just so I'll make the delineation is that the video, the song itself is written and performed by me. I had a lot of my friends and guest musicians play on it as well. And the video itself was AI generated. People are like, oh, the music was AI generated? No, that wasn't AI generated. That's original. But I wanted to play that out for us today. So we can play that out. We can watch that, and then you guys can check it out. And it's also, I put it up on Twitter. But Jeff, this took me a long time, and I'm still not happy with it. But,
it was really good.
It took a long time to do. And I finally finished. I had I did a test and I finished it 60%. Was done. I finally finished it last weekend. So, or actually over the last 2 weeks. So I'll put that up there. Let me go ahead and I'll play us out. And then anything you want to say before we get out of here, Jeff? Before I put the video on.
Before you put that up, just want to share this this image here. Let's see if I can see if it opens.
Oh, let's just do another half hour. She's so fake. Jim D, she celebrates Kwanzaa. Only one African tribe on the continent ever celebrated Kwanzaa. And Kwanzaa was made up but if you want to know, it was made up. It was a prisoner who made it up in prison. There's no such thing as Kwanzaa. It's another invented.
You see the tomorrow, yesterday, today clip?
Yeah, that's the thing is, like, some people won't believe that this is real. They'll be like, this can't be real. And it's like, some of it actually is. You can't tell the difference between parody and real anymore. That's when we know we're in trouble, because when you hear a clip that's 100% real and it feels like parody, maybe we got a problem. And that's why she will not be the nominee. This is so funny. So Trump came out and said, like, I'm going to wait to find out who is actually going to be on the ballot before I agree to any debates. And so the left was like, Trump is scared to debate this woman of diversity, the first woman ever. And Trump's like, she's not going to be on the ballot. And you know what happens?
So what's the point?
You can these fake polls. We had a poll where Hillary was beating Trump by 91% to 9%, right? So you can prop her up, but you know what they know? When the internal polls come in, and then the betting polls have Trump up 60% to 30%. When the real polls surface and they realize they don't have a shot in hell to win, that's when you're going to be like, oh, there's going to be a coup and everybody's demanding a primary. And then at the DNC, they're going to select somebody different. And who wants to spend their political capital running against Trump right now after this debacle? It may be that she stays on the ballot because nobody wants to run in this cycle and rather wait to 2028. But we'll see, Jeff.
Yeah, that's it. This is the time. We're
smash that like button. Smash the like button. Everybody take a second now. Put the like button. Our algorithm's crushing us. We're losing subs day and right. If it wasn't for people, if it wasn't like our long-term, long time, subscribers like Rough Rican and all you guys who subscribe to our channel, that helps pay the bills, the podcasting bills. We certainly don't like to do this podcast, but not come out of pocket for it, So those kind of things sort of help pay the software we use and all that kind of stuff. So
that's right.
And there you go.
But man, I'm just going through. I mean, there's all sorts of, we could go on for another hour. There's, but we will.
Jeff, let's get Kamala's voice in there. She's such a cackling.
We'll get that one. We'll get that one in there. I just wanted to post this thing from Elon Musk. Elon Musk had come out and he said that he was giving $45 million a month to Trump, but what he meant to say, and Elon Musk is saying, I'm not MAGA, I'm more MAG, just make America great. He has a PAC called America PAC. They're donating $45 million a month to the America PAC. The intent is to promote the principles that made America great in the first place. And he wouldn't be able to give $45 million directly to Trump anyways per month. It had to go through the PAC. So he's not, and he doesn't want to take Trump's slogan, which is MAGA. So he creates his own slogan. He just wants to make America great. Thinks America is great. He wants to make it more great. So, and there you go. Wants to continue and protect it. And that's a big part of it. But you're seeing people stepping up, like the Winklevoss twins, Elon Musk, and there's many others that are stepping up to the plate because they see exactly what's happening. They know what needs to be done. They know this is the last opportunity to really save everything. And they're putting everything on the line. Think about the billions of dollars that Elon Musk spent to take Twitter and turn it into X in order to make it a fair, safe place for people to comment on.
Right.
And I think he's been doing a really great job with X. It would be nice to see YouTube go that route so we can start gaining subscribers again. But overall, I look, there's 348 people that are watching, and we've got a good number of that. A bulk of that is over on X. So that's just how it goes. And we got to make it happen. No like button on my screen on the ATM. Are they blocking you guys?
You know, the thumbs up thing. I don't know. Well, they take subscribers from us every day. We lose 10, 15, 20, sometimes 40 a week. I don't know. I mean, who's unsubscribing? I mean, nobody. So we have no new subscribers. That's kind of hard to believe. So there's a lot of shenanigans going on behind the scenes, but what are you going to do? We just keep fighting the good fight and do our thing and hope that things will change. I mean, like Elon Musk, please buy YouTube, because can you imagine that coupled with X? Holy cow.
Oh, man. It'd be massive.
You know,
it's the video platform they need.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be nice if YouTube would take a more free speech, don't protect us from anything. Listen, if you want to be a raging lunatic, anti-Semite, okay, we're going to put your speech out there. We don't have to listen to you. We don't have to. If you want to be a complete, leftist, communist, great. Put your message out there. If you can attract an audience, good for you. If you can't, that's great. But let the people decide. If you want to be a total MAGA, don't get canceled on YouTube because you believe that, you want to do what's right for your country. I mean, people have the different points of view, and they should be the ones that you agree with, you pay attention to, and the ones you don't, just ignore it. That's what free speech is. It's not speech you like. I like free speech. This is the speech I like. And, canceling people and all this other stuff. That's not diversity. The real diversity comes in difference of how people believe, their thought pattern. You can't agree. We have people that come in here. I used to be Alchemist, but we seem to be on the same page these days, but it seems to be, but so what? We don't want to cancel people. People say things to me all the time, like, Chip, you're a MAGA loser, blah, 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 and Trump supporter, and I'm sugarcoating it. So what? Okay, I don't care. I'll comment on it or I don't. This is what free speech is. I rarely block anybody, and not unless you're going to be personal attacks that are going to be against my family or threaten me. Yeah, that's a different scenario, but I don't block people. Listen, how can I believe in free speech and then start blocking people? I don't like that. Click. Yeah, okay, well, you said it. If I'm the freedom to say what I want to see, you should have the freedom to respond to me. I mean, and these politicians that put up a post, but they allow no comments, or the White House that puts a YouTube video up and there's no comments. Why? I mean, what do you really believe in? You believe in diversity of thought, or is it just a show when it comes to skin color? It's BS.
Well, Hugo Filan, Chip, going back all the way to where we started, Hugo Filan said, "Seeing the Olympics opening ceremony makes me even more thankful that I live in the UAE."
That's disturbing. What? I'm surprised by that because I've seen other comments. You're talking about Hugo from Flair?
Flair.
That's surprising.
Seeing the Olympics opening ceremony makes me even more thankful that I live in the UAE.
Well, wait till I see how thankful you are when you lose everything, because it's going to happen. And I can't figure out if France is going to fall first or the UK, but I do think the UK is ramping up because Islamists, and not the Islamists that are like law-abiding. I'm talking about the crazy nutters who want stuff like Sharia law. Sharia law is not compatible with Western lifestyle. I don't care if you live in the UAE. I don't care where you live. Like South America, North America, it's not a compatible lifestyle. You don't treat people. You want to talk about unfairness. All the people, the LGBTQ side that's all supported of, the Islamists will go over there. They throw you off a building, and if you survive, they stone you to death. That's what happens. If you're still moving and happen to still be alive, they crush your skull with the rocks, or this is how they treat the gay population. Do you think that's fair? You think that's good? You see the way they treat women? Oh, you were driving? Boom. Get in, the middle, grab heavy rocks and stone a woman to death. You've never seen a woman stoned to death? It's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. A woman that can't protect herself, barely put her arms over her head, and they crush her and they just kill her with throwing rocks. Usually one hits her in the head, they're bleeding. It's just, this is the people that want Sharia law. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not allowed to show your face in public. You're not allowed to be educated. This is how they really treat women, and this is how they treat the gay crowd. And and this is the thing where people get wrong about conservatives. That's why I don't say I'm an independent, but I believe, and I always tell people I'm a constitutional conservative. That's how I see things. But if you're gay, great, you can be gay. You know what I've seen, Jeff, and this is how I know that she's not going to be on the ballot. I have seen more people from the gay community coming out against Kamala Harris than I like. It's all over my feed, and I'm shocked by it, because they're like, hey, I don't care if you lose me, cancel me, whatever. I'm not voting for the bitch. That was what one guy said. And you have women on there, and they're like, hey, we just want to live our lives. I don't want to, gay pride used to be something we celebrated, but now it's turned into like an orgy fest. That's not what it's about. That's not where we're going. You've basically taken, we just wanted to be treated like, equally. Okay. And I've always been of the nature, I don't care what you do. Like, why does what you do in the privacy of your home or whatever, why does that matter to anybody? Whether I'm heterosexual or you're homosexual, what does that matter? If you're bisexual, like what does that have to do with your character, or who you are as a person, or how you treat other people? Why do you need to know about it? And why do we need to know about it? Why does the left always have to put someone in a box? So they first got to put you there by your sexual preference, and then your skin color, and then you're this or that, versus the right, which is, hey, I don't care. You know what? Listen, everybody, this is what we want. We want freedom to be who you are, but we don't need it shoved down our throat. I don't need a month of pride shoved down my throat. I don't need every organization flying the flag. I mean, we have one day to celebrate. We have one day in the U.S. to celebrate July 4th, the birth of this country. We have one day for every president. We have one day to celebrate Christmas, the birth of Christ, the death of Christ, right? Easter, the rise of Christ, right? That's what we have, right? We have our Jewish holidays, right? We have the high holy days, right? We have all this stuff, but we have a month for debauchery. Listen, cool that you dig that, cool that you want to do that, but why are you forcing it on us that we've got to do? We have one day, Juneteenth, right? Celebrate this one day, right? That's what you're going to celebrate. You're going to have an entire month for it. It makes zero sense to me, Jeff.
Makes no sense.
It's
it makes
absolutely
no sense.
Disgusting.
Because I mean, the whole concept of the Pride Month is to shove it in your face.
Bullish Mr. K, please take screenshots of this. I've got to see this. Please take a screenshot and DM it to me, or post it on X. But no subscribe button? Are you watching it on your phone, or are you watching on? This is crazy talk. This would say a lot of what's going on. Maybe they are hiding that. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Aussie's hit it 100 times. Thank you very much, man. We appreciate that. Alex Heath says, one day I saw a graphic of the Agenda 2030 in Twitter. There was no in plain sight. Really, guys, you think Elon is part of this transformation? Yeah, I think the free speech is part of it. I think that's a good thing ultimately. But sorry, Jeff, I don't want to crush what you were saying. I just wanted to say, like, please screenshot that so we can actually see it ourselves.
Yeah, I like this. Aussie Crypto said, I'm just a meat and potatoes guy.
At the end of the day, I think we all are. And if I want to eat meat, I don't want to eat bugs. I'm not interested in your bugs. I don't care about your bugs. I want to eat meat, a big piece of red meat. I want it Pittsburgh rare. I want it still moving if I can eat it. That's what I want, okay? I've gone all directions throughout this podcast. I was a vegetarian for 7 months. My body got weak. I lost muscle mass. I was like, no. The good news is I didn't have any inflammation anymore. I felt amazing. Like, my body felt amazing, but so what? I felt like I was missing something. So, all right, we're going to play out right here with Dancing on a Grave, original tune that I wrote, animated with AI, with the aid of AI, Midjourney and Runway. Guys, we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a fantastic weekend. For us on the Down Under, you guys, good night. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.
Good day, good night.
Chip and Jeff out. Here we go.
Out. There you go. Hey.
Hang on a second. How do I put this? How do I put this full screen, Jeff? How do I put this full screen?
Go. Just like this.
There we go. All right, guys, we'll play out with this. Here we go.
It's a lie.
dead inside. Only faith tempts the photograph are still framing my mind. It's only faded, just a memory. Not too fast, no, or what we think it should be. Only faded, just a memory. Not too fast, no, or what we think it should be. Don't let it fade away. Don't let it fade away. Can't deny all these inner shapes dispersed within my mind. Futures laid, filling in the blanks, a red grinning inside. Only faded, just a memory. Not too fast, no, or what we think it should be. Only faded, just a memory. Not too fast, no, or what we think it should be. Don't let it fade away. Don't let it fade away. These are times never explained. We are dancing on our grave. Daylight focuses another perennial display. We can never leave the past unaltered without some regret. With dancing feelings, ignore the fear of another misplaced step. Don't let it fade away. We are dancing on our grave. Don't let it fade away. Dancing on our grave.
Are you down with OTC? Please like, subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when the next video drops.